Good Monday morning. This is the Great Basin Smoke Dispersion Briefing for this Monday, January 23rd. A look at the next 7 days with an emphasis on smoke dispersion, but general weather as well. And looking at our precipitation the past 7 days, it has been wet everywhere from Las Vegas through the Arizona Strip, southern Utah, up the Wasatch Chain through much of Wyoming and Idaho, Nevada, especially along the Sierra Front. Areas in green indicate ½ to an inch of rain, where you see the yellows to the reds, that's 1.5 to 3 or 4 inches of precipitation, even 6-inch amounts in the high Sierra. So you can see that overall very wet. A lot of this is in the form of snow, so a lot of fuels are above about 5,000 feet or so are snow covered and should probably remain that way. Taking a look now at our upper level map and infrared satellite imagery. Big, deep, low pressure off the Pacific Northwest coast, kind of typical of the pattern we've been in for the past month or so. Bringing in lots of moisture now, pushing into the Great Basin, into Nevada, into Idaho and northern Utah. This low will continue to dominate our weather at least through the next 2 days before this high pressure ridge building way out in the Pacific starts to influence our weather later in the week and into the weekend. So here's a look at weather conditions, upper level map on the left. The Great Basin is highlighted through here. You can see a deep low pressure system across much of the western United States. We are right in the core of it. The green and darker green indicates high mid-level humidity, typically clouds and steady precipitation, rain and snow across most of the area. On the right-hand side, dispersion conditions overall pretty good, where you see the white to the yellow, the area in purple, which indicates poor overall dispersion, just confined to a few isolated locations, especially the further north you go, due mainly to the cloud cover. Breaking it down to the individual components, you can see on the left transport winds quite strong out of the west, and some of those purple shades are in excess of 40 miles per hour. Really no stagnant areas to speak of. Mixing heights a little bit low in the bluish areas where you have solid cloud cover and precipitation causing low-level inversions, but overall decent mixing today, especially for pile burning. Looking for Tuesday, you see that low pressure starts to move out, but we're still in the swath of moisture across our northern areas. Our dispersion conditions start to decrease a little bit more in the red across Nevada, but still not that much in the way of purple. Where you see white or yellow, you're basically in the clear. Again, breaking it down to the individual components, transport wind starts slackening off a bit across our western areas. Mixing heights in the afternoon as well, starting to take a dip. So conditions in Nevada probably, especially northern Nevada, a little bit worse than in some of our other locations. Taking a look at Wednesday, you still see we have kind of a northwest flow. The main trough is gone, but there's another weak trough of low pressure pushing into the northern Rockies and the Pacific Northwest. Our area in red kind of expands, but that's kind of marginal. The area in purple, which would signify really bad smoke dispersion, is still confined mainly to pockets of western Nevada. Breaking those down into their individual components, lighter transport winds across our western area, still gusty across the Wasatch and the Tetons, and decent across parts of Idaho. Our mixing heights are starting to go down a little bit. Snow cover will cause some localized inversions, especially across Nevada and pushing into parts of Utah. Speaking of Utah, the clearing index, which indicates overall dispersion conditions, red, orange and red being good, and bluish being bad. You can see the best day will be Monday, and as we go into Tuesday, we start to see decreasing overall dispersion across western areas. Still good across the Wasatch and some of our northern areas, and that starts to decrease a bit more on Wednesday as low pressure moves away. Looking at our precipitation from Monday morning through Thursday morning, quite significant. Just about all areas, except for a few isolated pockets in northwestern Nevada, over ½ inch to an inch of rain, where you see the blue, and keep in mind that that's not counting snow, so above about 5,000 feet, probably 1 to 2 feet of snow in some of the higher terrain across Utah, parts of Idaho, and the Tetons of Wyoming. Looking a bit further down the week, Thursday, we still see this elongated trough across the northern tier states. Still bring in some cloud cover, maybe some light precipitation, but nothing significant across parts of northern Utah, eastern Nevada, into southern Idaho, and parts of Wyoming. On the right-hand side, we get a bit more marginal in our dispersion, with the areas in red expanding. Areas in purple, though, the really low dispersion stuff still staying quite isolated and spotty. Taking a look down the road to Friday, again, good dispersion in southern areas, decreasing a bit as you head further north, the worst of it across parts of southern Idaho. On the left-hand side, you see high pressure now starting to build in across the west coast, but we still have a decent north-northeast flow aloft across much of the Great Basin. And into this weekend, high pressure builds in. There is some moisture and some cloud cover pushing into parts of Idaho, however. On the right-hand side, we start to see a bit of an increase in that purple area of very poor overall dispersion, especially across our western areas. And then on Sunday, that area in purple starts expanding and covering a bit more of Nevada into Idaho and even popping up a bit more into Utah as a big high-pressure ridge now starts to build across much of the west. Taking a look at precipitation as we go from Thursday morning through Saturday morning, just some spotty trace or light amounts across parts of northern Utah, southern Idaho, and into Wyoming, but really we start getting to a drying trend. And if we look at the extended 8 to 14 day outlook, which takes us from January 30th through February 5th, temperatures will be cooler than normal, so that snow cover for the most part of what we get or what we've gotten will stick around. Precipitation starts increasing again across western Nevada into California, near normal across the rest of the area. And of course, normal means at least getting one moderate storm system during a 7-day period. And this concludes our smoke briefing. Our next briefing will be this coming Friday. Have a great week.